All right, Dr. Misbau Lateef joins me live from the UK, of course, to put all of these into perspective. Very pleased to have you with us tonight.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you.
All right. In the UK, what documentation, of course, are required to, of course, either purchase property as a foreign national?
Well, purchase of real estate in the UK is not significantly different, from the practice in Nigeria. You basically, of course, need to have your fund and then have an agreement, a title or transfer of property agreement with whoever is selling. So you don't necessarily have to be a resident in some cases or a property. So generally speaking, it is a contract between the seller and the buyer, and of course, based on documents that by law are required to be genuine and credible. So basically, the difference is not exactly significant from the Nigerian land documentation process.
All right. Well, now, there are reports alleged that Michael Ozekhome used fake Nigerian passports to buy the London property. From the legal perspective, is it possible for someone's identity to be misused in international, of course, transaction?
Well, generally speaking, let me say that, the finding regarding Mr. Mike Ozekhome is actually a finalized, finding of a tribunal in the UK, a finding on the point of fact that some documents, were procured, forged, or fraudulent documents to try to seek ownership of property. So to the extent of legal framework here in the UK, that was actually, I would say, a formal indictment. At a civil court, finding that some of these things actually happen. Now, having said that, the issue of whether anyone can procure or forge document, is entirely, out there. People who have fraudulent intention, people commit crime regardless of geography. And this is one of the reasons why we have the system, on occasions to address to cases like that. And I think what the London Tribunal has done is to, find, one of such fraudulent cases that may have, slipped, through the process. So yes, people commit crime globally, everywhere. And then the system, sometimes, like we have seen in this case in the UK, in particular, has caught one of such cases, unfortunately, involving a very senior Nigerian lawyer, and thereby also, unfortunately, casting a very significant aspersion on the legal practice and, the Nigerian system entirely, if you ask me.
Now, as a legal mind, at what point do you think the allegation becomes a criminal case?
Well, like I said earlier, at the point of forgery, in the first place, the Judge Iwan Payton of the tribunal in London found, as I said earlier, on the point of fact, that there were forged Nigerian identity documents. Nigerian international passport was forged. This was a finding of court. Nigerian name identification number was forged, and so many other documents were forged. So yeah, basically, those are clearly criminal, issue that a Nigerian court by law or Nigerian authority can actually decide to weigh in, because these were Nigerian document forged, which I would say national security implication, if you ask me. And you remember that lately, one of the conditions that the US gave in restricting visas to Nigeria was that our national identity are porous, or system is porous, or not credible. So these are some of the cases that I think promote such international, profiling of Nigeria. So yes, forging Nigerian international passports, as that court has found, is a criminal issue. Forging Nigerian identity, details or documents, these are purely criminal things that the Nigerian authority and the court can weigh into.
All right. Finally, how will this case impact on the reputation of the Nigerian legal profession? And of course, those of you who practice, especially outside of Nigeria?
Well, I think the significant thing here for me, first and foremost, is to commend the Honorable Attorney General, for walking his bold talk of really bringing this case to court. I mean, we don't often see this. The significance, another significance aspect of this again is the fact that, that the Nigerian authority has stepped in should in a way redeem, our damaged international reputation. I mean, the ethics of our professions. So this shows that people, and I'm not speaking to the outcome of the case now. I really want to be very careful here. I don't know what will happen at the FCT Court, but regardless of that, we know what has happened in London, and based on that, it is quite, I would say, redeeming that the Nigerian authorities have responded in this way. So this should communicate to the world that Nigeria is probably now serious and is ready to take some of these things more seriously. And we do all of this while we await, the outcome of the criminal charges before the FCT High Court. I mean, we will have to wait to see how this will pan out, how the court will determine the merit or otherwise of the charges.
All right, Dr. Lateef, we must thank you very kindly for sharing your thoughts with us on this matter.
Thank you, my pleasure.